facility, and this is one of the series that we present to the community. Dr. Lin from UCI. Dr. Lin, Professor Lin, is expert in integration in Eastern and Western medicine, and he specialized training in treating the convergence of excuse us for the technical. I think we will resolve that pretty soon. Dr. Lin is expert in Western medicine and Eastern medicine convergence, especially acupuncture and physical medicine. And he is currently a faculty member, professor in Susan Samuel Center of Integrated Medicine at UC Irvine. And he's also visiting professor in Shanghai University of Traditional Chinese Medicine. And he is a collaborative scientist at the Institute of Chinese Medicine, Chinese University of Hong Kong. And he served on the editorial board of Journal of Alternative Complementary Medicine, as well as editorial board of Chinese Medicine. And his credential could last a couple of pages, and I'll introduce Dr. Lin to the podium, and we thank him for giving his time to this series. And let's welcome Dr. Lin.
Thank you, Jeffrey. First of all, apologize for being a bit late. I prepared a lot of slides all weekend and all day today, and the file was so big that when I tried to save it on my stick, a lot of stuff didn't get transferred. So I had to redo a lot of things in the last minute. So some of these things will be missing graphs and photographs, and I'm doing my best. Let's see, let's dim some of the lights.
Are they going to be filming tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
So before I start, how many of you are first time here? Okay, just a few. Okay, so just about everybody have been coming to these. So I will minimize, repeating things that I've said in previous lectures. So first, this is the number 7 lecture in this series, and we only have one more in January. That one, I'm going to change the focus a little bit because it seems like the makeup of the audience is not what we have been expecting. The last one in the series is a career path in healthcare professions. Originally, it was intended for perhaps our younger audience, the high school students or the college students, in terms of choosing careers. Seeing that they're not really coming to the series, I'm going to change it to something that will, be consistent with what I've been talking to you all. I will explain the history, the principles and applications of different modalities. Doctor of naturopathy, doctor of homeopathy, doctor of osteopathy, doctor of chiropractic, doctor of oriental medicine. Who are these people? What kind of training do they have? But most importantly, how will they, contribute to your health and your health care? So that will be the focus, okay? Not so much advising which college you should go to, but which doctor you should see, okay? And it dovetails very well with tonight's lecture, which is on integrative medicine. So tonight's program will be half lecture and part lecture, part demonstration. So I'll talk for about 55 minutes. We have a 10-minute break. We have another half of the lecture. And then we have 20 minutes of hands-on demonstration learning. And today is an extension of the one last time. Since last time, there's a breakthrough in acupressure research, and I will teach you some really valuable, techniques and acupuncture points, fresh off the Harvard Medical School conference that I went to. Okay, so today the presentation, the lecture itself will be of 4 parts. Talk about integration and convergence of Eastern and Western medicine. First, how the use of Western biomedical approaches and technologies to study mechanisms of Eastern medicine. Then, convergence of Western medicine towards the philosophy of Eastern medicine. How Western medicine is becoming like Eastern medicine, believe it or not. Third, modernization of Eastern medicine. For thousands of years, for instance, in acupuncture, Chinese people use a needle. Now you can use laser, you can use electrical pulses, you can use ultrasound and so forth for even better results. And then finally, the integrated application of evidence-based Eastern and Western medicine for complex diseases that Western medicine itself is insufficient, such as cardiovascular diseases, cancer, diabetes, and so forth. So, let's start out with the first one, Western research on Eastern medicine. To have a better understanding of that, just quickly introduce you to the differences in basic principles, strategies, and philosophy between Eastern and Western medicine. Okay, Western medicine is rather simple. Okay, diagnose what's wrong. Okay, find the target. Okay, burn it, cut it, poison it. Okay, get rid of it. Solve the symptoms. Okay. Eastern medicine, instead of that, you look at the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. Look for imbalances in energy, physiological functions. Heal the whole person, restore the balance, strengthen mind, body, and spirit. And also, as they say in Chinese, the best doctor you see is the one you see before you get sick. So preventive medicine. As you can see, Western medicine is drifting more and more towards these things nowadays. So, first of all, let's talk about diagnosis in traditional Chinese medicine, as in contrast to Western medicine. Western medicine started out, maybe 100 years ago, seeing, hearing, questioning, touching the patient. Then, of course, the laboratory tests, blood analysis, your cholesterol, your blood count, and your iron and the balances and so forth, and EKG, EEG, electrocardiogram, electroencephalogram, and powerful imaging techniques. X-ray, of course, CAT scan, PET scan, MRI, ultrasound, very advanced and advancing very quickly. Eastern medicine started thousands of years ago, and it's still pretty much at a standstill, So-called the 4 diagnosis: seeing, hearing and smelling, questioning, and touching. That's it. So first, let me just look at with you. How is it possible for thousands of years you can rely just on that? Okay. Pattern differentiation. Okay. Chinese doctors don't talk about you have diabetes, you have cancer, you have viral infection. No, they talk about a pattern of problems that you have and see what pattern you fit into, and then give you a recipe of herbal medicine, acupuncture, and mind-body exercises to deal with that pattern of disorders, so-called pattern disorder, pattern differentiation. So these are the 4 diagnoses that will allow the Eastern doctor to put you into a pattern, one of many, many patterns, 64 main patterns plus many, many more. So, first of all, pulse diagnosis. Okay? Pulse diagnosis works like this. I'm sure, whenever you go to the clinic, the nurse, 75, beats a minute, you're very healthy, okay? That's it, okay? Heart rate. But, now this is where I lost the slide. I have a slide, but it's not showing up. So, in Eastern medicine, take 3 fingers on the right hand, okay? 3 fingers on the left hand and the right hand, and 3 fingers right here are 6 different positions. Each position you feel lightly or you press harder, okay? A well-experienced, well-trained Chinese doctor can tell you not just how your heart is functioning, but how every single organ in your body is functioning. Like this finger could tell you, how well your heart is working, but this one, your spleen, your lungs, okay, you press harder, your large intestine, your small intestines, and your gallbladder, and your liver, and so forth and so forth. You get 12 channels of information, supposedly. Unbelievable, right? Okay, so how's that possible? Okay, so this is where Western research is coming in to see how is it possible. First of all, the pulse is a waveform, okay? It's not just like tap, 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 okay? So a wave could have like a fast rise and a slow decrease, or it could be like, roundish, or one big one, some small ones. They have shape and texture, okay? That's a lot more information than how many times, okay? How many waves per second or per minute. So there's a lot of information here. All right. So our collaborators at UC San Diego, T.P. Chung at the Schwartz Center for Computational Neurobiology, okay? So he took, a standard EKG, okay? 12-channel EKG, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, okay? Recorded, heart rate, beep, 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 like this, okay? And, the different channels is still like, 12 different beats, 12 different of the same thing. Then, using high-level artificial intelligence software called independent component analysis, as you can see here, but it's missing, they could actually resolve the weight structures into 12 different components. Yes, this one here shows the heart rate, just like, beep, 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 beep. But there's another component that's clearly not the heartbeat. It's much slower. Okay, it's embedded in there. What's that? That's the breathing rate. The breathing rate is embedded, in this information. So you can see how well your lungs are working from taking your heart rate, okay? And there are 11 other components of things that they haven't figured out yet. Maybe they are, related to how well your kidneys and your gallbladder and things are working. You wonder how this is possible. See, when your blood is pumped through the body, the blood goes to different organs. They could pick up different resonances. If particular organs are moving at a particular rate, that information is embedded in the heart rate itself. So if you just count how many beats, it's 70 beats per minute. But there's a lot more information on that. So our laboratory also looks at this. So if you look at, beep, 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 beep. Let's say in this case it's beating 60 times a minute. That means that each beat is 1 second apart, right? 60 seconds to a minute. But using high-level computation methods, we could actually measure the time interval between this beat and this beat, this beat and this beat. How wide, how narrow these beats are. That is called heart rate variability. So 2 people could have their heart beating 60 times a minute, but one person may have very even, rates of beating. Another one could have a wider one, a narrow one, a narrow one, a wider one, a narrow one, and the average is still the same. Okay? So the heart rate variability of 2 people could be very different, even though the heart rate is the same. So, in looking at that information, we could tell, okay, it's actually counterintuitive. If your heart is beating very regularly, beep, 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 you think congratulations? No, condolences. Okay? That means you have serious heart disease. Or, okay, you're really stressed out. Or you're really physically tired, or you're on drugs, okay? We could tell all these things just looking at the difference between this. A healthy person would have a lot of variability, that some of these are very long, some are very short, some are very long, although on the average, it's still, 60 times per minute, but the variability is very high. So actually, counterintuitive, high variability means that you're in good health, that you are relaxed, okay, that you are not tired, you're not on drugs. We could tell all of that just from your heart variability. So this is an illustration of how Western medicine is beginning to understand that, hey, a highly trained person doing this, okay, can actually tell a lot about you, not just how hard your heart is beating. And of course nowadays, okay, if you're not trained for not much money, you can buy an app, okay, and buy one of these watches, right? Like this Apple Watch, for instance. You see the back here, okay? The back here can take your heart rate very accurately. And with the proper software, it could analyze this and whether you're stressed or relaxed and so forth. So of course, this is kindergarten stuff, so this couldn't really tell you whether you should need a stent or open heart surgery or, but pretty much if you're tense or if you're relaxed, this could actually tell you. Not just how many times to be. Okay, so like I said, high frequency variability means that you are, relaxed, resting, and low frequency is bad news. Okay, that you are very old, or you're tense, you're nervous, you're tired, you're on drugs, and you might have serious heart disease. Okay, next, yeah, let's hold the questions till the end, okay? Because I do want to finish all of this, particularly because of the loss of time in the beginning here. Next, smell diagnosis is one of the 4, diagnoses in Chinese medicine. Smell, okay? Well, how much can you smell a patient and you can see what's wrong? Okay. Well, Western doctors actually recognizes a number of diseases where the patients have a particular smell. Okay, like patients suffering from phenylketonuria, okay, PKD, or at least for the spouses, it's not too bad. Patients suffering from maple serum urine disease. Oh, well, it smells good, okay. As opposed to those people who suffer from fish odor syndrome. Yeah, that's bad news. Okay, but seriously, these are very rare diseases. But then again, it illustrates that smelling could actually tell you quite a bit about a person's condition in these rare situations. But what is interesting is this. There's a lot more now that Western medicine understands about smell. This doggy here, okay, his name is Tango, okay, and the picture shows that the dog is working his way, smelling these different samples, okay, and he is really good at picking out from the urine of different people whether a person has bladder cancer. So in this case, he's trained to wag his tail if that urine sample is from a patient with bladder cancer. George is another dog